You know what's easier for me to do? Punch somebody in the face.
Hello, and welcome back to this week's episode of Yip to My App. I'm still Erica Starr, and today I'm here with
Joel Canela.
And today we are talking about emotional regulation and mainly the relationship sides of your life. So we're just gonna rip off the Band-Aid with the first question. So you told me before that partners who didn't have safety growing up can't make a relationship feel safe. So what does a safe upbringing look like to you?
Your parents allow you to express yourself to be who you are from the moment that they notice you're a bit different and you're not like them. That's what that looks like, at least growing up.
And I think I've seen it too recently, even like on social media, where they say that a kid who grew up in a safe environment, a kid who feels welcomed at home and stuff will always be weird. Like when your kid is weird, outwardly weird for no reason, it means that kid is healthy, that kid is safe, that kid is loved. And I just say that looking back at my life because I was giving my parents concerts from a young age. I would just burst into the room, start singing whatever Justin Bieber songs came top of my mind. And I'm still doing that to this day. So I can agree with that. But how does that differ from your upbringing?
Oh, okay. Well, my upbringing, to say the least and the most. That whole like being safe, being yourself was not allowed. I grew up with two not the most educated parents, but they knew what they knew and they gave me what they could. So with that being said, it wasn't much of a safe environment. It was more of a survival environment. It's, how do I say it? It was Joel, ponte pa lo tuyo, o yo te va a quitar lo tuyo, right? So it was like, put the battery on your back or they're going to take everything you have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My dad was always very much like, I came to this country. I gave you guys everything I have. Yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Shit that I never fucking asked for. Just like I tell them all the time now. I didn't ask you guys to birth me. Mm-hmm. That was your decision to have me, not mine. So you can't keep trying to blame me for the shit that y'all never got. That's not my fault. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think parents nowadays need to understand that and stop trying to be like, I gave my kid the world and this, that, and that. Your kid never asked for none of that but love. If you can't give your kid the love, don't throw their fucking whole childhood in their face as in like, I gave you this and that. Because that's not creating a safe environment. That's creating a controlled environment where you want them to act like how you want them to act because you never got to express yourself growing up.
Yeah. And it's also just like, why are you coming for me because you're giving me the bare minimum that you should as a parent? It's like, how are you going to yell at me and say, oh, I put food on the table, I put a roof over your head, I put clothes on your back. What do I get for that? And it's like,
you don't
me?
You don't get points for doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
All right, come on.
So then what did relationships look like in your home growing up?
Distraught, not loving, transactional, and a lot of betrayal. Okay.
Are you willing to elaborate on that? Or at least give an example here and there of what that might have looked like?
Okay. Well, with my two older sisters, it was different. They were very loving and caring and protective, and they showed me a lot of love. Boom. Now, my parents' situation. Everything is transactional. Everything is, I did this, so you have to give me this. I came over here to give you guys a better life. You guys owe me this. This is something my parents do till this day. Mm-hmm. They're like, yo te traí de Santo Domingo. I was like, first of all, I was never born in DR. I was born here. Nah, you're just talking about my sisters. Mm-hmm. And this is their story to tell, not mine. But my part would be, like, my dad is like, you do this and you do that. And you make so much money doing this. I'm like, cool. But, like, my cost of living is, like, 70 times whatever you were making.
Yeah.
It's not the same. You know what I mean? Yes, I make a certain amount of bread. But I have way more debt than you.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm educated, but I pay 70 times more for it. You know what I mean? It's not 1995.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
Damn.
Shit is trash.
Yeah. The closest thing I could probably relate to that is my relationship with my grandmother growing up. And it wasn't so much a money thing. It more so had to do with time. and like lack of respect for my time.
Got it.
So it was like, you have time to do this, but you can't do this. Or, you know, it was just like one of those toxic households where it's like, I want to go out and hang out with my friends. And it's like, oh, you can hang out with your friends, but you couldn't insert tedious task that means nothing, you know? And it was one of those households where I lived with people who didn't clean up after themselves. And so I lived out of my room. So like nothing that should have gone in the bathroom for myself was in the bathroom. Like my shampoo, my conditioner, my soap, nothing was in the bathroom. I lived out of my room. Everything that I owned, even down to like my outerwear, like my hoodies, my jackets and everything, because my grandmother was the type to be like, I haven't seen you wear that in a while. I'm just going to throw it out. Like, that's just the way that it was.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was one of those, and it wasn't fun. And it was just one of those things where I don't know. I look back and I'm like, I didn't have to, like, I shouldn't have had to deal with that. Like, it's one of those things where I'm like, for what? Like, what? I didn't gain anything from that except how not to be a grandmother when I get older. Like,
as long as you know it had nothing to do with you.
Yeah, I mean, as I got older, I realized that, because when I was younger, well, I didn't even think about this until I was probably like in my early 20s, where I was like, yo, I have been yelling back at her since I was a kid. Like, I remember one time I was in elementary school and they had us writing nonfiction stories. And the way that they teach you about nonfiction is like, okay, you're writing a story that sounds real, but it's not. So, so I remember one time I wrote this story and it was like, something, I messed up something in the kitchen, and then my grandmother got mad at me and I yelled back at her and I ran to my room and I slammed the door and all this stuff. It was just giving chaos. Chaotic household.
Like that's a real story to me.
Yeah, it was. But I was like, my teachers don't know that. And my mom was like, why would you write this? I said, it's nonfiction. She's like, Erica, but that happened. I was like,
You're like,
okay.
well, nonfiction is real.
It's nonfiction. I was like, there's so many stories I've read that like sound like my life, but aren't. She was like, Erica, but you wrote this. So yeah.
And they said, write a real story. I wrote it.
Yeah. So yeah, I always had like this relationship with my grandmother that was just not the best. And there was a moment when we were younger that it was good. Like, I'll be honest, I was one of those kids, I didn't like showering. Showering was not a fun thing for me. I was like around the age of like 5, 6, was not fucking with showering.
I'm judging.
It is what it is. So my grandma had a deal with me that I was allowed to shower every other day. Yeah.
What? What? Nah.
I don't care to put my stuff out there. I shower every day now.
You good, but like every other day is type crazy.
Yeah, but like as a little kid, like, okay, it didn't count in the summers though. So
okay,
like, it was, yeah, it was when school started around that time, September-ish, and I wasn't sweating yet. Cause that was one thing. As soon as my armpits started sweating, they were like, every day. You got to do it every day.
That is so funny.
Yeah, that was our thing. So like we had our like stupid little bonding moments like that, where it was just like, grandma lets me, shower every other day. Ha ha ha. She's so great. But that was the extent of it. Yeah, that was my life.
All right.
Another little moment we had is like she taught me how to swing on a swing set. Like we had little stuff here and there, but it's like that's all I can remember. So then I get older, and then like COVID hits, and I gotta spend 24/7 with her, and that's when I was like, oh, I hate this. I can't do this. Like. Like I could laugh about it now, but this shit was crazy. Like before.
Say, yeah, grandma, I'm with you for convenience, and I hate it here. like okay.
Because I lived with my grandma and my aunt when I was younger. So in middle school, like me and my aunt, we would be at home. I would get out of school around like 2 p.m. and my grandma would get home from work at like 5:30. And like me and my aunt, we were having a great time. Like me and my aunt were raised as like sisters because she's like 11 years older than me or 12 years older than me. And that's how we grew up. So we're having a great time. We listen to music. As soon as it hits 5:30 and we heard the lock turn, we were like, fuck, fun's over. Like, that's it. It's just done. because that's just the way that it was. So, all that to say, all that, jokes over trauma, but
Jokes over trauma.
I feel like she had a lot to do with just how like I process my emotions and how I deal with other people, and just how I can look at things from the other side and be like, you know what, maybe that had nothing to do with me, has everything to do with you. Because at the end of the day, my mom tells me this all the time. Like, I know my grandmother loves me. I know she cares about me. I know if anything were to happen to me, she'd be distraught. But I have a lot of instances at the top of my mind where like I remember her saying things that are just not things your stereotypical loving grandmother would say. And I'm just kind of like, all right. And I've grown to learn how to distance myself from her while still keeping her close enough to, love her and be as present of a granddaughter as I can without sacrificing my own mental health. So that's my situation growing up. So what were you learning about conflict, repair, and emotional expression just by watching the relationships in your household?
I ain't learned shit. I'll be honest. I ain't learned nothing. Yo, oh my God. My mom and dad are so like, how do I say? They are by far if you was to look up the stereotypical Dominican like parent household, it's them. Like you'll see a photo of both of them. It's, it's loud, it's disrespectful, it's aggressive, it's screw you, I did this for you, I did that for you. It's like blah blah blah, and it's physical, it's violent, it's the most traumatic shit that anybody has to grow up with. And I know my whole neighborhood can agree with this because some parents are smart enough to walk away, right?
Yeah.
Other parents stick with each other off codependency. That's my parents.
Oh.
Codependent. Two very much like my mom's a little bit smarter than my pop, but my pop is a bit smarter in other areas than my mom. So like they went, like my dad's good with finances and stuff like that. And like my mom was just like, how do I describe Mama Dukes without making her like a bad person? My mom has qualities that my dad doesn't have. And my dad has qualities that my mom doesn't have. Boom. So they work well in those retrospects. But then everything else wasn't really the best. So when it came to conflict, repair, and all that, there wasn't no repairing of conflict. It's, you did this, so I did that.
And that's it.
And that was it. And it was like, whatever my dad said, that's what went. Period. If he was like, I'm over this conversation, because when he was younger, he was this really, really aggressive asshole. And he watches this, you're an asshole. And I've already spoken to him about this, that he's an asshole. I'm not fucking afraid of that. You know what I mean? It's different. I done had to fight my dad a couple times growing up. So he knows he was a McDweeb, as I said in the last podcast I was on.
Yeah.
He was a McDweeb and my mom was a fucking loser. No offense to him, but offense. Because what they didn't do, both of them, was protect their kids from the conflict that kids didn't need to see growing up. And that is something I'm still coming to terms with. That is something like, as an adult now, being a person who has been in 4 relationships and none of them has worked out due to the fact that how I grew up in my environment, it messes with you a little bit. So it puts you in a place of, am I worthy of this love that someone else is trying to give me, without thinking that they're gonna betray me or I'm gonna betray me in this relationship where I end up hurting the other person.
Yeah.
So it's a tough battle sometimes, because all you really want to do is give that version of you that wants to love without no regards for human life, And then all the trauma in you that your body has been storing since the time you were born and even before that doesn't allow you to. Mm-hmm. So you end up hurting the people you care about, who you don't want to hurt at all.
Yeah.
Ever.
So how would you say that shows itself? Like, would you say, like, when you say that you hurt people, is it because like traits within your parents that you have are showing up, or is it a lot of you protecting yourself because of your past and that, backfiring?
It's both.
Oh.
I'm both my mom and dad's mistakes. And in a person, I got all the bad qualities of my mom and dad. All of them.
There's no good ones?
The good one is that I'll go above and beyond for a person I care about. That's a good one. But all their qualities of being a bad partner, I have. All those traits, I got. And my sisters have done a really good job at being the opposite. The thing is that once they left and they moved on, I was the one left dealing with my parents' upbringings and all their issues during my teenage years. So anytime I would try to get into a relationship, it was much like, I probably shouldn't do this, and I would leave them faster than they would leave me, because my trust issues with anyone is, I've seen both my parents do wrong. How am I supposed to believe that you won't do me wrong? So I'd rather leave you before you leave me, and it's not because you're a bad person. It's because I can't trust myself enough to be the person you want me to be. And that shit hurts. Yeah. And that's something I learned through therapy, but also something I learned through, relationships that just hasn't worked out for me. And they could have been my person. I just wasn't the person for myself. So I can't be that for them. Yeah. And that's trash.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate. I don't know. Like, when I hear stuff like that, I just think about like sappy, like rom-com movies, and I'm just like, it could have worked.
Don't be rom-com, right? I mean, again, like, I'm just
obviously minus the com. Like, this is some deep stuff, but like,
yeah. I mean, again, like, I'm just a person now that I'm learning this all by myself. Yes, I've been going to therapy since I was 16, and that's EMDR therapy, behavioral coaching therapy. That is therapy where you're like, please, you must, whenever you're feeling mad, take this deep. I'm gonna be honest, it's cool. Fuck that shit. Like,
yeah.
Because at some point you're just mad, and it's gonna be up to every single person themselves. In my case, it's at one point, when am I gonna be like, all right, cool. I haven't hit that point yet. You can't force someone to heal on your time, right? That's just not a thing. Like, just because you love me enough doesn't mean I'm going to heal in your time. I can't do that. I don't function the way you do. I don't think about things the way you do. I don't move the way that you do. I'm trying to unlearn habits, behaviors, patterns that seem so normal to me that sometimes I'm just like, this is just what it is. And it's not that I don't want to break it. I just handle things one at a time. And that's how I go about like my patterns. They're one at a time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been that person who tried to get someone to heal on my timing. Like, I had my own timeline where I was like, okay, if this person can get their shit together within the next year, like, maybe something can happen between us. But with that, like, he would always tell me this, and like, it's fucked up looking back. He would be like, am I just some kind of project to you?
Yeah.
And all right. But
yeah. It is.
Okay, but like, I was also in it for the love part. I wasn't just trying to like, oh, let me fix you, and then everything's gonna be fine because of my big evil plan to fix you.
It's not an evil plan.
I know, but that's how it's coming off.
But it's not. That's not what. That's not. All right, put it like this. That's not what he meant by that.
Yeah, I know.
What he was trying to say is like, how is it that you're trying to make me unlearn something that is so embedded in my like DNA? Yeah. That is a harder thing to break. That's not your job to fix.
Well, I know this now, okay?
Of course. But I'm just saying that's how he felt, because I've already been in that situation where I've had partners and they're like, well, I need you to do this at this time. You could go.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be
But
able
the
to
thing
do
is,
it
like,
at that
I wish
point.
he
It's not-
said that though. Like,
But
like,
you're asking somebody who's never learned how to communicate with you to say that. That's
I
not how
know,
that
but
works.
okay, but between
And he said it to you.
he said
Not,
what?
you said it earlier that how is it that you expected him to change on your time?
Yeah, okay,
And
but
if
I
he's
didn't.
once he said, "Am I some kind of project?" That should have indicated to you that you were like, "Oh shit."
Well, yeah, it did give me an oh shit moment, but I didn't tell him the whole thing of like the whole within a year. That was all in my head. It was just that he felt it based on the things that I was saying. Cause I'd be on some like, so how are you doing with this? How's this going? Have you checked on this? Have you spoken to so and so in, such amount of time? And he would be like, you're checking in a lot. And I'm like,
Which is great. I'm not saying that's a
it's
bad
a weird
thing.
thing too, though, because it's like
It's not a bad thing.
it was a mix between like concern, girlfriend, situationship, whatever the fuck you want
Which
to
is
call
okay.
it, and parole officer. That's what it felt like.
And that's the second part that
That's what made it difficult.
as a man, we don't like that because
Yeah.
you know when people say you can't force someone to change, they'll do it when they want to. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can be checking on me 3, 4, 5 million times. Now, if we flip the switch and we're like, well, now that you're on my ass about this, are you doing the things necessary on your part to make you a partner that I want in my life? Are you going to the gym? Are you eating healthy? Are you also going to therapy?
Yeah.
Are you waiting for me to go to therapy for you to go to therapy just to say that you're going to therapy? There's a lot of things that go into things like that. And again, I'm only speaking from experience, right? And as a coach, right? Because I'm a coach.
Yeah.
That's my thing. I check in on people. And sometimes you don't need to coach the person you with. You need to understand that this is their journey. And if you're with them, be with them. If you know they're having a hard time with them, don't bash them for it. Yeah, throw a little elbow at them like, hey,
Yeah.
do that. You know what I mean? But also at the same time, don't push them. Because when you push and you keep pushing, you actually push them further from what you're trying to get. And there's this battle between you guys. And now there's this, like a lot of resentment can build up in that.
Yeah.
Because now it's not on his or hers volition or them, right? Whatever you identify as. It's what the partner wants. I need you to change in 6 months. I can't do that for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you want that, go find somebody else. But me, myself, a person who spent, this is me speaking on mine, I've spent my whole life living a certain way and I grew up a certain way. You can't ask that of me.
Yeah.
As a person who's never asked a lot of people for anything because I'm very hyper independent, most of the time, all I ever ask from my partner is, can you just go to the gym? Because I come from a family who has obesity, a lot of comorbid diseases, and they don't take care of themselves. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
Most of the time. The other times, I'll work with you on that. I can be like, you know what? Okay. But the gym stuff, I will never bend nowhere. That's my boundary. That's like, you need to have some respect for yourself if you plan on having a life partner, period.
Yeah.
Like, it's imperative for me that you take care of yourself.
Yeah.
You are not going to be a parent and you're like not taking care of yourself. For me, it won't fly. I'm just going to look at you and be like, that's not cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I hold myself to a standard. I became a coach for a standard, for like a standard. I tell my family all the time, you need to be taking care of yourself, especially knowing that we have like asthma, obesity, dementia, Alzheimer's, high blood pressure. All these things run in my family. There is no way I'm going to have somebody be my life partner and be like, oh, I don't go to the gym. Yeah, you're not for me.
Yeah.
Period. And you might be the person for me, but you're not the person for me right now.
So when you think about your teen years, what are some things that happened that you say significantly changed your view on life?
There's a couple.
Okay.
One being the first time I had alcohol. And that definitely, first time I had alcohol, cussed school, smoked Black and Milds, and was like getting into relationships or like talking with people. Those are things that were formative. And being groomed by someone I trusted. Now I won't say their name, but that definitely all messed with me at some point. You know what I mean? Because I already had anger issues with me and my pops. So on top of that, being taken advantage of in a vulnerable state fucking sucked. But with alcohol, I think it was like my 16th birthday. We're like in the Heights and we're going to 190 something street, right by G Dubs. And I remember we killed like a bottle of Henny. And my friends had to take care of me. And I remember chasing my friends.
16?
Facts. This is real story.
I know.
This is real shit.
I know. That's why it's like crazy to me.
It was my best friend who, you know, I'm the godfather to his kids and stuff. And my good boy, he moved back to the States now. Or he moved back to New York. And I remember I was chasing my boys and I was so blacked out that like I chased my homie a couple blocks, just chased him, like for the fun. And it was the first time I was uncontrollable. And I was getting to my building when I lived on 176th Street, and I was throwing up the staircase, threw up in the staircase right in front of my door. Then I threw up on the side of my bed, and my boy, who was like, this is my man, 100 grand. He just put like my clothes like around it, and just like my mom came through and was like, is he okay? And we had a game the next day. I remember this. We had a basketball game the next day, and I was bad. I was down bad. So I'm singing. Am I singing? No, I'm eating tripe soup, right? Mondongo. And I'm just like, yo, he's like, yo, Canelo, we got a game. We got to go. And I'm like, bro, I ain't going to play in this game today. But from that day, it was so bad because then alcohol kind of just took over my life. And it was like I couldn't have fun without it. Everything just was like anything I felt towards my pops, any type of anger was coming out. When I used to cut school, I would wait for my parents to like, I would leave, right? First, I'll go all the way up the stairs. I'll wait 20, 30 minutes. I'll hear my mom leave. My dad left at 6, so I didn't have to worry about that. I hear my mom leave. I hear my dad leave. I go right back downstairs. I open the door. I go in the crib. Anytime I didn't want to go to school. I did that since 6th grade.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I used to live on 174th Street on the 6th floor. I would go up, climb the staircase, climb over to the roof, and just like I would wait 30, 40 minutes until they left. And I would wait and I would look over the building to see if they left the building. And then I'll go into my apartment. Yeah. That's how much I didn't want to go to school because I just did not like being with them. And I was smoking Black and Milds at like 12 years old. You know what I mean? I was smoking weed at like 14. I was throwing parties, going to parties, being around.
Oh my gosh.
I'm a
prude in comparison. That's what I'm saying.
I've been partying since I was 9 years old. Like if you ask my homies, we've been in parties since we were 9. Like catching dubs as a 9-year-old is bananas. You know, you 9 and you catching a dub on somebody else's daughter who's also 9. Like this was real shit.
How are you guys like getting together?
What do you mean?
There were adults there too?
Yeah. The adults were there. It was valid.
That is so crazy.
That's why that's why a lot of the people I know, they mom and dads now. They get it. But these are all my homies. Like we went to school together. So it's different. Like we just grew up very different, you know. And there's some folks, you know, that I met now. They're like, oh, but we never did that growing up, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, and we around the same age? Yeah, you wasn't really exposed to that kind of environment. But I was always exposed to around that environment. I was always around it. It was something that was acceptable. I knew when I was young, I was trying to be like cool because I was already not liked in my home. So the least I could try to be is liked in school. But like even then, like I had my best friends protecting me because I was really just a nice person. Like I never really wanted to fight. I wasn't this like overly aggressive human being. If anything, I was bullied more than anything. And I just wanted people to like me. And I remember this, like, till this day, it would have just, like, still fucked me. So I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to just have people come over. They can come smoke Black and Miles and people would pull up. Now, if they took advantage of that situation, I don't know. They were probably also going through some shit where they just needed an outlet and we just got cool through it. But it's a different type of upbringing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. These are upbringings that you think things are socially okay, socially acceptable. But I always knew I could do that as long as I never let my grades slip. Mm-hmm. So
how were your grades not slipping if you weren't even showing up to school? Because
I was pretty fucking smart. That's really what it was. Like, yeah, I wasn't showing up to school a lot. But when I was in school, I paid attention and I sat down and I took notes. And that's kind of like how I am. I take notes. I write everything down. I read a lot. That was something my sisters instilled in me. Like they would yell at me like, Joel, you need to read these books. You know, both my sisters are educators now. I ended up becoming an educator when I lived in Spain. And they're like, you need to read no matter what. Your dad can't read. You need to read. Your mom could barely read. You need to read. That was something both my sisters emphasized heavy on me. Mm-hmm. Read. So I never fell behind. I was never anything less than 10th, anything, maybe 5th, honestly, in my class because I was always reading. So when I got to school, I was never left behind. I just didn't do all the work that they needed me to do because I wasn't there. They're like, oh, you could have got 100 if you was in school. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Because it was like, I don't care. Like, I'm part of the cool crew. And I'm like, I'm hanging out with people, like I was trying to figure myself out.
We're getting to our sobriety section of the podcast. And this one, I don't know, this one feels intense, at least when I wrote it. So what did rock bottom with alcohol and drug addiction look like for you?
The fiends you see in the street?
Yes.
That was rock bottom for me.
Really?
Yep.
Like?
That's exactly how I looked.
Like the leaning and stuff?
Yeah.
And really?
It was like that.
At how old?
When were they trying to have this intervention for me? I was probably like 26.
Oh my God.
I'm 30 now, so at 26... being somebody who used to sell drugs and...
Yeah. How did it get that far? And, like, did you feel it getting to that point? Or was it just kind of like...
I wish I could tell you what my thought process was at 26, but I can't. I just know that was just me trying to escape whatever I was in.
Do you feel like that time period is just, like, blocked for you?
There's a lot in that time period that I can't remember. There's a lot in that time period that, unfortunately, I'm paying for now. Mm-hmm. And again, it's why a lot of my relationships didn't work out because you can be someone who cares about someone, but when you see your person looking like the fiends in the street, you can't stay around that, and you shouldn't.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. If you do, your heart is huge. And you're a really nice person.
Yeah.
And you really believe in your person for a fact and that you believe that you can get them out. But there was a time that I just didn't believe that I deserved anything. So.
Did you want help?
Oh, yeah. They didn't get to do the intervention. I went the day before they were able to do it.
Oh.
So the day before, I remember I called my doctor and I was like, hey, I think I got a problem. And shout out to Dr. B. Dr. B was like, what do you mean? I was like, Dr. B, I'm going to be real. Like, I keep taking this every day. I'm also working at the bar. It doesn't really help that. I already drink all the time. And I went to try to get help. And pretty much he set me up with a social worker. And I was coming every week. And that was a really hard time. My partner at the time, she didn't know for a while, She had like a year and a half. And she was like, but I didn't know. And I was like, you wasn't going to know because I can show you that I'm not doing that. But at the same time, like I'm also on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How were you able to mask that?
when you have 5 positions to hold in life, you learn to mask a lot of things. You know what I mean? I had 5 jobs at one point. So being that one of them was also being my little brother's like tutor because it's COVID. And then I had to be a parent coordinator and a dean. I was also starting at Blink. I was coaching like as a personal trainer. And then I was, again, I was selling.
Did that mess with you, like outside of the selling, like having all these role model type of positions?
Of course it did.
And leading the life that you live, like at any point where you at work and you were like, how am I preaching this to you? And my life is
Well,
what it is.
we definitely helped me kind of like lower all that. But at the same time, I was just numb.
Damn.
I was good at what I did.
Mm-hmm.
I was just numb at everything. At being a partner, I was numb at being a big brother. I was numb at being my parents' son. I was numb at being a coach. I was numb at being all that. Because I was already in that state. And it's not until you're in that state and you're going through it and then every day feels like, how do I say? Like a destructive cycle that you cannot escape. So it was rough.
Yeah.
And I know it was rough for the person I was dating at the time.
Yeah. And then were your parents aware?
No. Except
At
this
all?
one time that my dad was like, I remember I was going out to a party and I dropped a bag and he was like, you looking for this? And I was like, give me that. Thanks. And in the bag, it was an e-pill. And he was just like he looked at me with kind of like that father figure, like, I really hope you're not doing something stupid. And I just walked out.
But even then, he didn't feel the need to have a conversation?
Of course he had the convo, but what was he going to say to me? What?
Just some good old fatherly something. Or even saying that he cares.
That's not my dad. My dad don't get like that unless he's overly drunk and crying.
Damn.
That's my pop. That's my man, though. I love him. Word too. He's a mess. But I know he's hurting.
Yeah.
I know he's hurting on the inside a lot. So he just always told me, like, don't look like an idiot outside. I was like, kind of late for that,
late.
buddy. Already look like a fool. So, damn, my eyes just killing me.
Do you want to rinse your eye?
No, we good. Keep going.
You sure? You've been going at it for quite some time. How has sobriety changed how conflict shows up for you now and how you resolve issues?
Well, I still drink. So it's not sobriety entirely. But I don't overdo the drinking. At least recently, I keep it at a 3-drink minimum when I'm out. And then hopefully this next month, and not hopefully, it'll be 2 and then 1, and then we go from there, whatever. But being sobriety from drugs and alcohol has definitely, and just keeping myself more at home and being like around the things that I need to do has diminished a lot of fighting, has diminished a lot of like arguments that were very unnecessary. Because I'm not one of those people. Like, I hate fighting. I hate arguing, especially with someone I care about. I'm really a baby.
Just a baby.
Yeah, I'm really that. Like, I'm one of those, like, I just want to be home and I just want to be held. And, with previous partners, I didn't get to just let fully all that go and just be like, this is just what I want. This is just what I need. And at least being sober now, as of today, I am, how long is it? I think it's 91 days, 92. So almost 100 days, no drugs, no weed, no like, it feels good. You know what I mean? Usually I try to numb pain But now that pain that I was numbing for so long is what's resurfacing.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have to deal with that. And I'm like, oh God, I thought it was okay. No, I'm not. I'm not okay. And now I have to face that pain
Yeah.
in front of me. And again, no one has to stay with you through that. No one has to be around you with that. But it is something that like you're gonna carry till you face it. Right now, I'm in the phase of facing it.
Yeah.
So I know my future relationships are gonna fail until I face this now. Cause I know what I want in the future. Like I want the house, I want the 2 dogs, I want a loving partner. I want 2 cars. Like I want to have a very stable job. Is why, I did I took a lot of like city exams that I know would help and benefit my future because I know what I want. But in that, I can't get what both my sisters have, which is that stability, until I deal with the instability of my emotions and how hard my upbringings is really messing with me. And I'm going to continuously lose people I love until I deal with that.
Yeah. And are you prepared for that?
I don't really have a choice.
Yeah, but it's like, you could be more prepared than not if you've done the work or like.
Thing is, I'm just starting.
Okay.
I'm just facing those now.
Yeah.
I just spent years being numb. Now it's about facing them and not being numb. That is why this sobriety is very important for me. Yeah. Because what I numbed myself for the last 14 years is what I'm facing right now.
Yeah. And like, how do you plan on facing it? Like, I know you said you just started, but like, what comes to mind when you think about like the upcoming few months, like how you're going to go about really digging deep and bringing it all to light?
Well, one is going back into therapy. Another one is very much like being very honest with myself and understanding that my triggers, I'm going to react. Because it's just going to happen. And although people are like, but you shouldn't be this way. You shouldn't react, blah, 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 blah. It's easy to say that when you're somebody who didn't grow up the way that I did, where triggers are normalized. Mm-hmm. That's fine for you. Cool. I'm happy for you. But at the same time, I don't give 2 fucks. Mm-hmm. You're not going to make me feel bad because I'm reacting to something that I never got to deal with. You're not going to make me feel bad about being a person who never had guidance on how to react to certain situations. You're not going to make me feel bad about being a person who has to deal with the burden of his parents. You're not going to make me feel bad about having 2 parents who never showed you how to deal with your emotions. You're not going to make me feel bad about having role models who took advantage of you, who were supposed to teach you how to deal with these emotions. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't have anybody teaching me how to deal with my emotions. There's no one there. It's just me. Yeah. Now, imagine trying to teach a baby how to fucking crawl and walk, but every time the baby tried to do that, it just got taken advantage of and pushed back and regressed. Yeah. It doesn't feel so fucking good. Yeah. And I'm not trying to say I'm a baby, but there's learning curves. Mm-hmm. I don't have a lot of people around me that just knew how to do that. So when I go and I ask for help and I reach out and I'm like, how do you do this? How do you do that? How can you go about this? I shouldn't be looked down upon because I'm trying to find a way to make it work for me, Like if your friends are your friends, they should hold you accountable, but they shouldn't make you feel like crap about trying to move on or trying to be better, because I am trying to be better. Yeah. It's just taking me a little longer now. Do you need to sit around and wait? No, you don't have to do that. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to ever ask anybody to do that. But just know, and I've always said this to a lot of people that I care about, I'm just an early investment. You got to give me time. I'm not on your time. And I said this in the last podcast. You can't impose your healing time on me when I'm learning how to go through this by myself. I don't have anyone around me. Yeah, choose better. That's easy for you to say.
Yeah.
You know what's easier for me to do? Punch somebody in the face.
Yeah.
It's easier for me to do that than it is to be like, this is how I feel about this situation and I don't like it. And I'm actually really good at articulating my emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think it's really important to have people around you who are just patient. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, you need patience around you. You need people who are willing to look at whatever it is you need help with and not see it as like, well, of course you should know the answer. Because a lot of times that's, everyone's on their own types of paths and stuff. And it's like, I have a very like simple example of this that happened recently. And I don't know, it was a moment where I had to check myself really quick and be like, Erica, like, chill the fuck out, because your instinct is to snap at this person for a really stupid reason. And when I give you the example, it's going to be so dumb. So my friend came from out of town and he's living on his own, and he's very like stereotypical boy. Like, he's just, just cooks the same 3 meals or whatever, just eats what he can, or he just sees what's in his cabinet and it's like, oh, I'll make something out of this today and it's fine. And so I had made lasagna and he sees like my pan is out and he's like, oh, like what's that? I'm like, oh, I have a spoonful of like some of the meat or whatever because I have leftover. And he's like, this tastes really good and blah, blah, blah. And like, I have the cheese out, the meat out, and the pasta out. And like, I don't know, to me, like, lasagna is a very obvious meal. It's very obvious how to put it together. And he's looking at me, putting the stuff, in its respective spots. And he's like, what's the next step? And I'm like, in that moment, I kid you not, I had like this fire where I'm like, what the fuck do you mean is the next step? You layer it. It's lasagna. Like, that's just, like, my brain immediately did that. But I looked at him because, like I said, I wanted to snap at him. And I looked at like the genuine curiosity in his face. And I was like, Erica?
He's just trying to learn.
Yeah, I was like, he's literally asking you a simple question. Like I said, it sounds small, but this is just how, you realize who are your friends and who aren't. Because I could have snapped at him. He could have been like, Erica, like, ouch. Like, I was just trying to find out how to cook or whatever. And I said, I had a woosah like right in front of him. I was like, I'm gonna just take a deep breath. I was like, you put the meat and the sauce on top of the pasta and then the cheese, and then you just keep on doing the layers. And he was like, wow. And like, it was so innocent. And it was one of those things where I could only imagine that if it's something deeper, like emotions, and it has to do with just like figuring yourself out and like just how to go about things in the world, that if somebody snapped at you like that, and if someone was like, what the fuck else do you think you're supposed to do? Then it's really easy to just kind of like, okay, I'm going back into my shell. I'm not going to say anything to you anymore. I might just shut down, all this stuff. So yeah, what you said brought to light that just patience is key, especially like, and everyone's a work in progress. Everyone has their things. Some people are just deeper in construction than others. That's how I like to say it. Some people do scaffolding. Some people it's just a full on demolition, just start from the ground up. And that's completely okay. But it's just more a matter of having people who are both self-aware and aware of their role in your life and aware of, how much you want them to help, how much you're asking, and how much they can. So next we have reassurance and relationships, which I feel like we've already been going over a ton today. So let's just start off with something else that you told me before the pod. You said that before it used to take you 2 weeks after an argument to apologize. And now that is not the case. So what, what changed?
Man. What changed? Okay, so put it like this. The fact that, but one, what changed was I'm not under the influence. My memory is 100% better. I'm not gonna say 100% there because it's not.
I was like, shit, that was fast.
But it's 100% better, and I can process. And it's with anybody. And I'm not speaking with previous people that I used to be with, but if I was speaking in that term, it would be, let's say hypothetically, I was with someone and, he or she said something that probably at the heat of the moment, I couldn't understand. But now, being, about to make 100 days, my process is a bit faster. And I'll sit and I'm like, oh, you're right. My fault. I did kind of lash out on you.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to. Please forgive me in that sense. I'm still learning. And remember that before it would take me 2 weeks and I might give you the cold shoulder. And I was only giving the cold shoulder because I just believed in giving myself the cold shoulder, and that I didn't believe in myself to give myself that permission to feel whatever I was feeling. Mm-hmm. So if I just ignored you, it was better than me facing you. You know?
Yeah.
As opposed to now, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to fight with you. I'm just trying to connect with you. My bad. I know I was an idiot and it was really stupid, and I'm sorry. Because in reality, most of the times when you're arguing with somebody you care about, anybody, it could be your mom, your dad, your sister, you're not really trying to disconnect from them. You're really trying to get closer to them. And you're like, hey, I'm not trying to shut down, but I feel like I'm about to shut down. Can we talk about this before I shut down? Because I'm going to shut down. And if I shut down, it's going to take me a little longer to process. And then it's going to disrespect you. And in your mind, you're going to think, oh, this, that, blah, 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 blah. And I really care about you and I love you. And please don't leave.
Yeah.
And the please don't leave part comes from that abandonment wound that he, at least in my case, I have. You know, I'm never trying to leave someone on some like, this is my dad. You know, I've already learned that I have this anxious, preoccupied attachment. So as soon as I feel like somebody's going to leave, I'm like trying to fight 3,000 times much. And it's just like, I shouldn't do that, Joel. They should kind of understand that, like, when you're like this, it's just, you're trying to fight everything that you learned growing up, and you're trying to you're just dysregulated, and you just need to get regulated, because when you're regulated, you're not a fucking asshole. You're just somebody who really cares, and you're just like trying to go to sleep and lay down in their arms and be like, my bad, can we please watch this show? I'm gonna make you some food and rub your feet. Like that's straight up. Like I'm really not an asshole. I'm really just like a sweetheart who's just trying to like be the sweetheart that I know that I am. And I'm like, please, like, my bad. I'm just tweaking at the moment. Please don't be mad at me for tweaking. I'm just trying to regulate, because I never had anybody teach me how to regulate, and now I have to learn it on my own.
Yeah. Damn. But like, what is it that gets you to that point though?
It can be anything. The same way you were upset about your friend asking you about, this is how you put the meat in the fucking lasagna.
Something like that would be enough for you to just like lash out?
Immediately. Because as soon as I feel like you being like, you see how something so small like that for you was, what do you mean you don't know how to put that? Sometimes I'll look at someone and they'll say something to me and I'm like, are you like an idiot or something? Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's stupid. And I'm very straightforward. So sometimes when I be like, something is stupid, I'd be like, that's kind of stupid. And you sound stupid. And now the other person feels really attacked because you said something is stupid that they said. Even though it is stupid, you shouldn't say that it's stupid. What you should say is, I just don't agree with what you're saying. Maybe try it this way.
It depends, because there are a lot of times where I'm like, no, that's stupid. Like,
yeah, but not everyone.
Like, how harsh are you saying it though?
Pretty harshly.
Because like there are people who I've met for the first time, like even like at the gym, I met this older woman and she was telling me about like some situation that she was in with a guy, and I'm like, this is like some teenager drama. I was like, I was like, what? Everything you're doing, I was like, this is stupid. Like I used that word, and she took it very well. She was like, you know what? I haven't spoken to I haven't gotten like a younger person's POV on this, and to hear you say it makes me like, this shit is dumb. Like what I'm doing is so dumb.
Well, again, like some people are built to handle that constructive criticism. Others, they haven't built the tolerance to understand that constructive criticism. You can tell someone, hey, you're kind of being stupid in this, and they're going to retreat to their high school themselves, where someone said that that's stupid and it hurt their ego. And now their ego is so hurt that it doesn't matter what you say. I'm so hurt because I can't take this constructive criticism that you just told me. So if you don't say it in a way that's like, you know, maybe if you just tried it this way, it would benefit you more. Maybe if instead of saying that's stupid, and I'm telling you off experience, because I've already went through this, instead of saying, hey, that's stupid, you can be like, hey, bro, hey, sis, hey, babe, I think it'd be better if you went about it this way because some folks might see it in a way that is not in alignment of what you're trying to portray.
Yeah.
Now, you see how I just said that without saying it's stupid?
Mm-hmm.
I only learned that just now. So, you know what I mean? It just, things like that took me a while, you know, and it only took me a while after like all these failed experiments.
But I mean, I do get everything, because at the end of the day, it just sounds like everything comes down to everyone needing to work on themselves, because even the person unable to receive it, like what you said about someone reverting back to their high school selves, because even me in my early 20s, like if someone were to say anything even close to calling me a hoe, a whore, a slut, a thought, you name all the words, I'm thinking about 16-year-old me and whatever stupid drama I went through, and that one boy that I really liked, or, you know, that one girl that I thought I was close to who said the thing. And I'm like, why is my brain going back here? And then that's when you get into all like the therapist stuff, and it's just
because your
like,
ego is hurt.
and it goes all into just, you know, your brain does like the whole Jimmy Neutron thing, you know, when it like goes in the neurons and shit. That's what it feels like.
Looking like a That's So Raven episode.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I know.
That's how it feels. And it's like, no one is immune to that. That's a very human experience.
That's
It's
everybody.
It's a matter of sitting with that and thinking like, am I going to keep reverting back to the old version of me? Or am I just going to, you know, update my mental software and not, you know, react like that anymore? But that's up to you.
I hear you. I can't relate because my mental software is still regulating.
It's buffering. It's taking time. It's lagging.
It's lagging.
Yeah, it's just a little lag.
It helps that I'm on this sobriety, but it's still like lagging in that department because I'm very quick to be like, eat a Frank.
Yeah. And even then when I'm frustrated with people, like and this is like and it started off from like a meme, and it's something I've been using to just reword the things that I say. I think about the memes that say, I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. And I don't say that to the people who frustrate me or my friends who come to me with the same problems over and over and over when I like recognize a pattern with them. And I'm like, girl, you're the problem. I don't say that, but I make sure that whatever I say to them sounds nice coming after the phrase, I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. And it changes the way that I speak to them, because it's really easy for, you know, like you said, like sometimes you can be really real and it just comes off like
rude.
Yeah, and as if I'm trying to
attack
it can
them.
come off like you're rude, like you're a hater, like you've had like this festering emotion. It's like,
resentment.
No, I recognize the pattern, and it hurts me to see you hurting, and I'm really trying to find a way to say this without making it seem like I'm attacking you.
Yeah, that's kind of where you tell them where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it to be real, it doesn't matter how you say it. When you recognize a pattern, you're like, look, this is your fault.
But people get defensive, even when you say it like that, because then they're like, why are you like psychoanalyzing me? Why are you looking that deeply into
and that's where I'm going to wholeheartedly 100%, no matter what anybody tells me, I'm going to say that y'all need to stop being so fucking soft.
Which is,
Stop being soft. And I'm going to look in the camera. Stop being soft. Take the criticism. If someone notices that you are repeating a pattern, it is because they care. And before you lose them as both a friend, a lover, a parent, anybody in your life who you hold to this high esteem, before you lose them, adhere what they're telling you. Because they're only telling you because you're being an idiot. And you need to grow up. Because not everything is an attack. And they only want you to be better. And they don't want you to repeat the same pattern.
Okay, so now we're getting into the therapy section.
Fuck.
It's not bad, I swear. What kinds of therapy have you found work best for you?
Behavioral coaching therapy.
And then can you explain a little bit of what that's like?
Let's just say my behavioral coach that I had in the summer broke me down so damn bad that the last section, I remember this because I was going through such a hard time in the summer. She said, oh, God, I got to find her again. So she looked at me and was like, hey, it wasn't about talking things out. It was about choosing better. And the last session I had, she said, Joel, you need to think and let go of the person who you used to be, because the person you're trying to become no longer needs them.
Do you feel like you kind of like held on to that, or at least you think about that every time like things get, tough?
I try to, but that old me is latching on really hard. So, yeah. It's one of those. I remember that day I was crying my eyes out because you get so attached to who you used to be that brought you so far in your life. Then now, as in a point of state where I'm at, letting go of that person means letting go of everything. And that means everything. That means dropping all of me, not just a part of me, all of me, and then reinventing who I am. And that's hard because I've gotten really far being who I used to be. But if I want to be the loving spouse, if I want to be the person I've said I've been trying to become, that person has to be let go and it has to die.
Yeah. Is what's holding you back from dropping that past self just like the feeling of betrayal to yourself?
It is a bit of betrayal.
Damn. And even though like what stops you from letting go even with like all the negative that's a part of your older self? Like how is that something worth holding on to?
That's the me that never really gives a fuck about what other people have to say. You don't have to like me. I don't really care if people like me. I've never cared if people like me.
But you could still have a piece of that. No?
I haven't gotten there yet. At least in my life, I have not reached that part of me. So I'm getting there. And I understand his work. But I also understand that I'm losing a lot of people that don't want to stay for that. And that's okay. And it sucks.
Yeah.
But it's okay because they don't need to be there.
Like anyone who's in it for your past self isn't even worth being there for.
If I am still being judged on who I used to be, I don't need you around me. If I am still being looked at for what I used to do, when the person right now is doing their best every day, I don't need you around me. If I'm constantly going to be judged and, somebody's going to quit on me as I'm doing the best that I can with everything that I have and all that I have, I don't need you around me. I might want you around me, but I don't need you around me. I never needed anybody around me. I've been myself for as long as I be. I am my longest relationship. I have been there for me when nobody was there for me. I have gotten myself out of trouble when I've had to get myself out of trouble. And I've had to hug myself in nights where I had nobody to hug me. And that's mom, dad, partners, anybody, friends. So
then, since we're talking about the older you, what do you wish the younger you had known, or at least protected you from, or that the younger you had been protected from?
my parents and drugs. Because younger me had ambition, had love, and knew what he wanted. So had I been protected from my parents' toxic cycles and away from alcohol and drugs to be fit into being cool, maybe.
No.
younger me would be in a position where I don't have to speak to younger me right now.
Yeah. And do you have any last words for anybody listening who might be in a situation that you're in, or who might be in the situation you used to be in?
Lean into the people you care about. If you know something in your stomach isn't right, listen to it. Don't wait years to walk away. And don't give up on the dreams that you have. It's possible. It's going to take some time.
Yeah.
But it's your dream for a reason. And if whoever is coming into your life and they fit that dream, then they're going to fit the dream and they're going to stay around. So don't be upset when some folks walk in and out of your life. It's still a lesson I'm learning now. It's still a lesson I'm going to learn later on. But from what I know and from other folks that have told me that are older than me, nothing in this life is forever. No person is going to be in your life forever, but you're always going to have yourself forever. So the moment you betray yourself is the moment you're going to feel all that pain and regret. So, Oh, and seek help. Don't be afraid to seek help. Like, you need to seek help. That's okay. Don't be like me and then lose everybody you care about.
Well, thank you for coming on, and thank you for being vulnerable and all that good stuff.
No problem.
You opened up a lot, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Leave 5 stars if your listening or viewing platform allows for you to do so. I think that's all I've got for you guys. I love you, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.